Welcome to the Middlemen, where we stand as solicitors for the voices unheard, speak the truth, and let no lie go unnoticed. Help me welcome my fellow jurors. Juror Evans Ufeli, who will be asking the unavoidable but yet a century-old avoided question: who is stealing from Nigeria? Juror Henry Igwebuike, who will be asking why a minister celebrates mass failure like promotion. Is this education or just digital wickedness? Juror Olajumoke Alawode-James, in all her empathy, will be looking past the nation-wrecking fever and asking if the creed we live by in Nigeria is bigotry or patriotism. While I, Juror Emeka Madunagu, will be looking at the woeful failures of both the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the 2025 UTME and YA candidates. All this in a bit. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. My case. Hashtag free VDM and exam mass failure. The hashtag free VDM hashtag has trended over the last few days in response to the pseudo arrest of social critic Vincent Otse, aka Very Dark Man, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for offenses not yet disclosed to the public. While it's within the purview of EFCC and other security agencies to effect arrests, the manner in which this one was done left many Nigerians angry. It also exposed the tardiness in the agency's operations. Dragging a bank into the matter in the manner the EFCC did was unnecessary, since nothing about the financial institution was in contention. For those justifying his arrest, kindly cast your minds back to how the same agency tried to overpower the Kogi State Governor, Usman Ododo, in order to arrest his predecessor, Alhaji Yaya Bello. Think also about the Gestapo tactics employed by the agency in its operations since inception in the year 2000. Why do you have to pull a hood over VDM's face? Is it true that he was trapped within the bank's security door? Why did the agency take so much time to tell the public what had happened? This leads me to the low performance rate in the Unified Tertiary Examination, UTME, and West African Senior School Certificate Examination, WASCE, in Lagos State, and the sad fact that no valid explanation has been given for all that. All we have heard are conjectures about the low performance rates. My verdict: the anyhowness in Nigerian public institutions is quite alarming. Public officials believe they can get whatever they like and get away with it. This is unacceptable. I've heard people saying that VDM is not above the law. None of them has pointed out which law. We need cogent explanations about what happened in these examinations. Enough is enough. I rest my case.
I was somebody who wasn't really attuned about this gentleman's arrest. Forgive me. I think his nuisance value is less than 0. But there are quite a number of people who think that he's Nigeria's messiah. He speaks for the masses, but he's very uncool. He talks without realizing the consequences of his speech, defaming people because he heard something. You heard something, it's a rumor, you have not verified it, you come and publish it, because everybody's now a journalist, because we all have camera phones, So I don't allow his shenanigans distract me from the things that are happening, because I've realized that when there's a serious matter to be discussed, something happens to him that distracts us, from the real issues. And within the week, it was about Sheyi Tinubu and the NANS president, and then that his arrest happened. He's now being released after a lot of public outcry. I guess people who love him should be satisfied now that he's been released. But if he has a case to answer, I think the EFCC should do their job. What I will agree with you on is the manner of arrest. We've seen the EFCC bust into hotels in the middle of the night, hitting people, I mean, in such a way, someone who confess to doing something that they didn't do. They can be more organized in their manners of arrest. When it's a politician like I was going to say Dino
Yes.
former governor of Kogi State, remind me of Yaya Bello. His successor Ododo would use his own police to stop his arrest, and they will not do anything. But when he's one Yahoo boy you know, that they can invite and harass, you go busting into their doors in the middle of the night. I think that that should not be done. But if anyone has a
But
case
sorry,
to
let me
answer,
just intervene. You know, the EFCC has actually toned down its Gestapo tactics.
because they know
There's a
that
there's a Nigerian of renown, very wealthy Nigerian, the EFCC wanted to arrest in its infancy, in its early days. I learned they went to his house with all kinds of sophisticated gadgets in the dead of the night.
did
In
you not
fact,
see them when they were chasing?
they were trying to bring down his gate. I'm talking of a prominent Nigerian. They were trying to bring down his gate until some people had to tell Obasanjo that, look, what you're doing is going to have global implications. Then he had to call them to stop. They went with all kinds of gadgets. So you can imagine. It's just that these days people talk about Yahoo, but if you go back
to when they were chasing
EFCC
politicians,
that invaded the government house in the governor's residence in Akwa Ibom, and went from room to room, they were looking for the governor.
yeah.
But you know, the EFCC that Obasanjo created is not the EFCC you have today.
Yeah,
The
very
one
true.
Obasanjo created was an offshoot of military rule. So they were
Militarized.
unrestrained. They were doing illegal operations, acting very funny, and the rest of that. So that has gone down, most especially these days where people are shooting them.
Yeah, well.
You know, from your window you can gun any of them down, because they are also so stupid that they go at odd hours and they want to prove superiority over all issues. So for this young man who I'm not a fan of his. I'm not
You and I are on the
I'm not a
same
fan
page.
of his, but I just think
We
that
should leave
the
him on
EFCC
social media and the people who follow him there. We shouldn't be discussing him on serious.
The EFCC should be careful the way they go about arrest.
That is it.
Because you see this way the way they are patterning arrests, it will cause more problem for them in the future. People will start to take laws into their own hands. People will be resorting to self-help, and they are the ones that will be affected because they will be targeting them and all that. It's not even an EFCC. It's not as if it's an EFCC that is even clean.
Very true.
If it's an EFCC that is clean, you can be doing all that. But you know, while you are trying to build blocks here, your junior officers and your whatever are collecting money from the back door and all that.
Very true.
And you are seeing all that happening. You need to clean EFCC from inside out.
They are even
before they don't even have the moral justification to face the Nigerian society.
They even had allegations of how from high up you collect 100 million from this politician and only declare 50 million from the Waziri's predecessor to Waziri. All of them like that had, you know.
One of them killed the other because of the proceed of criminality.
Can you imagine?
You understand? So is it the same body that we're talking about, or we're talking about something else? I don't want to talk about their bad side, but what I'm going to say is an advice. They should stay within the confines of their jurisdiction to make arrests and to arrest appropriately.
Very true.
Then follow the law to prosecute. Don't keep people beyond time. Don't do this thing the police do. Now we are going to get an order.
Well, they're police officers too.
To extend somebody's decision. You can charge them to court. If you are not charged, you release them unconditional. You can go and arrest them again if you want. But as long as you are not ready to charge, don't arrest, because you mess up yourself and the rest of that. The whole world is watching us the way we are going about these things, and I don't think it's okay. You had in your case, there's a part of it that
it's 2-in-1. Talking about jam.
Yes, but just before we get into that, let me just speak a little bit about the very dark man. You know, it's often agreed that energy flows where attention goes. That is what it is, and I just learned that there is a proliferation of very dark mans everywhere now. In Anglo Cameroon.
Yes,
yes, the young man now who dressed like a very dark man, equally doing the same activism that the very dark man is doing, calling people to order, ensuring positive one, ensuring that when people are faced with issues, he goes around to ensure they get the needed help that they need at that point in time. So I would love to feel seriously that every phase in our life, every 2 decades or 3 decades, we have people like the very dark man. I love to believe in the 70s and the early 80s when Fela Nicola Bokoto was equally doing his thing. The way we
Yes,
see
he
very
used
dark
to
man.
put
Yes,
appear in
people were
panties.
equally looking at
In
Fela
panties.
and Nicola Oguti. People will say, who is this man? He
Yes.
is on court. He doesn't understand the rules of engagement. He says whatever it is he wants to say. But the truth remains that activism has come to stay. We might not see it in 2 decades or 3 decades, but right after those times, we see an emergence of someone too. So let's just feel that a very dark man is the Fela of our time.
If I may interrupt you
Yes,
quickly,
please do.
what I would love to advocate for, because we all citizens now, majority of us have smartphones. We have data on our phones. We have become citizens journalists, right? So each and every one of us, you saw how that you call what's that, Naye, the
Ray, yes.
just by speaking her own truth, you saw how viral it went. So very dark man is not doing anything extraordinary. He's not doing more than she did. What I advocate for is for more of us to speak about issues. So there's a headline on any newspaper, pick your phone, say your own truth within a minute or two in a video that we can all watch and enjoy and comment on. But do your research. When you are mentioning names, ensure that you're speaking facts. Don't come and say allegedly and be using rumor and defaming people.
No, but so are you now saying that two Baba who separated from his wife and put allegedly at the end?
So I'm saying that before we use allegedly, let's even do our research. So very dark man, very dull man, very short man, very tall man, very Jumoke, very Evans, all of us becoming activists, as you have mentioned that activism is here to stay. All of us, for instance, they can pick one person if he stands out. If all of us are saying the same thing, how many of us are they going to carry? But let's ensure that we're saying the truth at all times and not just, spreading rumors and saying we're activists.
Okay. When we return, Juror Evans will be asking the question, who is stealing from Nigeria? Stay with us.
So welcome to the Middlemen of Jurors. Thanks for staying with us. My case, who is stealing from Nigeria? The former Labour leader and chairman of the Senate Committee on the Interior, Senator Adams Oshomole, is not the first to tell Nigerians that our solid mineral fields have been hijacked by those he described as retired generals in collaboration with foreign crooks. Oshomole addressed the media recently and disclosed how, as national chairman of his political party, the All Progressive Congress, APC, he sent a report of how some retired generals and foreigners were stealing our mineral resources to former President Muhammadu Buhari. Nothing came out of his efforts. In December 2023, the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, who is a notable close confidant of President Bola Tinubu, had at a budget defense at the National Assembly also raised the alarm on the deep involvement of powerful Nigerians in illegal mining and sponsorship of terrorism in the different parts of the country. Alaka claimed that government was identifying them with both kinetic and non-kinetic means. To date, no one has been named, let alone brought to book. That Oshomole will be alerting Nigerians to this same problem over 14 months after. Even Tinubu, like his predecessor, has been unwilling and unable to rise to the occasion as the commander-in-chief. If two presidents could not tackle this problem with all the powers at their disposal, what do Oshomole and Alake expect the Nigerian public to do? Chase after the so-called retired generals? The dimension of discriminatory treatment of illegal miners in the north compared to illegal refinery operations or operators in the Niger Delta is another issue that people have complained about. The federal government is always very eager to deploy the Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, Police, and Civil Defense Corps to destroy artisanal refineries in the creeks while killing and arresting the operators. The same eagerness has not been deployed against illegal miners in the north, where insecurity has become almost intractable for the past 16 years. We call on our leaders to take decisive action and confront the evil forces that have reduced Nigeria to a laughingstock and abject state of failure. A situation where a handful of big men levy insecurity, terrorism, and mindlessly plunder the resources of the nation unchecked by those empowered to do so is totally unacceptable. When an anomaly like this prevails for so long, it is often the case that powerful people inside the machinery of government are also involved in the plunder. My verdict: we demand that the culprits be immediately named, shamed, and prosecuted. We cannot be fighting small fry bandits while leaving their sponsors to roam free. Anyone who wants to invest in the mineral sector should follow the lawful process and obtain a license. The government must stop complaining and do its work. I shall go to Rabbi again.
The only place where I disagree with you is where you are calling on our leaders. Calling on our leaders for what? To do what? They never do anything.
Who should we call on?
Oh,
We shouldn't get to the stage where the people have to take up arms. It will be total anarchy.
And self-help.
That will be total anarchy. You saw what happened in Borno, one town called Isge, where Boko Haram attacked the town, and then 2 military officers, army officers who responded were killed. They ran out of ammunition, and then the people, the civilian JTF, came together against them and dealt. They finished. They finished the Boko Haram guys and sent the rest fleeing. Same thing in Zamfara, where the military could not and the police could not do it. It was the vigilante who dealt with the. They were said to have routed over 100 bandits. So all of these things, it just building up.
Stealing in Nigeria, the bandits you're talking about, Juror, they are the foot soldiers. The people stealing are very powerful.
Yeah.
The mines in Ilesha, the gold mines, right, being illegally mined, it is not by my grandmother or my uncle. No. Powerful foreigners, with the support of powerful
generals,
political elites. It's our leaders who are stealing. So when you are calling on leaders to come and hold leaders who are stealing, I don't know.
No, you see, it's not all of them. Not all the leaders that are stealing.
No, I didn't say all.
There are those identified who are stealing. The government must, develop the political will to get on them. The Sambisa forest we are talking about today is a gold mine of California. That space is one of the richest places in Nigeria. Okay, look at Ibadan, your states, where you have people, Chinese people and all that employed to do mining illegally. Look at Castina, Gombe, all those spots. So all those funds, I mean, they're just taking them out of the country and nobody is saying anything about it.
And the truth of the matter is, like for some of us that grew up in the northern part of Nigeria, Jos specifically, tin mining was so common that it was looking like sand mining.
Yes.
You know, nobody comes to disturb you.
Tantalize.
But it was a community thing. It wasn't like we just, as little children from primary school, without our parents even knowing, we just stroll to the mining sites and we begin to do the same thing. We just help them to sieve. Yes. No, with the tools and plates and all that. We just sieve. And before you know, you see a black stuff there. That's tin. And we sell it. They weigh it. They pay us. Everybody goes about their normal business. So nobody's even there to check you. Nobody's there to stop. Nobody's there to. It's normal. You know, so that's why when I look at what's happening in the Niger Delta, how that is the Tompolo-led organization and in cahoot with the military, you know, go on asking and tasking these people. I just see that disparity, you know, in action, you know, that's not mated on people who do illegal mining in the northern part of Nigeria. As much as, of course, we do agree that both of them are illegal, but I still think that the same force that is used to attack them in the Niger Delta should equally find itself in the northern part of Nigeria.
That is the Nigerian police that is supposed to secure human and property, right? Have they even secured humans?
They are killing the humans they are supposed to secure.
Aha. Talk less of property, material, resources. Because is it Air Force or Navy that you say should go and be manning all our resources and ensuring that they are not stolen?
Policemen used to do tantalite in Jos. I went to the University of Jos. They do tantalite. They take their own to go and sell. So I know that. For that one is not. Don't even introduce police there.
So who will do it? SESDC, NDDC.com.
You see, it's this from this small ones. From this small ones they do. It's from where they develop individuals, not doing it in industrial scale.
Yes, exactly.
Government can even forgive maybe children and maybe individuals, but when you are now taking it in industrial scale,
but all the modular refineries in the south, is government forgiving them? They said that
they deploy soldiers to destroy everything.
They said they found many behind government house.
You know, for me, what I worry about...
Was the governor not aware?
Governor is
politicians
are the owners now.
What I worry about is that there might be, if care is not taken, there might be an escalation of violence by next year in Nigeria.
Why?
Because Russia is making incursion into Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, the Sahel, you know, making incursion. Okay, look at, is it Malawi now? The president has just said that nobody should take its mineral resources outside.
Yes.
So when the rest of Africa,
their own minerals to use to go to France, like
when the rest of Africa now
they are learning from Niger now.
When they start locking their borders with the kind of, you know, lackadaisical government we have in Nigeria,
all of them will
come to Nigeria. They will come to Nigeria.
Over 1,000
France has already said it will help to, you know, look at 2,000 abandoned mining sites. Who abandoned those sites? So you will find out that even with this tariff war that Donald Trump is engaging in, the rest of the world is looking for where to make money and shore up the economy, because it's no more business as usual, you know, with America. So where can they get that easily? It's two places. If you notice the last World Bank report, the Africa Pulse report, they mentioned two countries, Nigeria and Democratic Republic of Congo. And those are the ticking time bombs in Africa.
These are the two richest countries in Africa.
Those two countries. And they are in the poorest region in the world, the sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
The poorest region in the world. Aren't you surprised?
And they are the richest.
The region that's the richest in the world,
mineral-wise,
has the poorest countries in the world. So if care is not taken, because Russia now is getting tired of the Ukraine war, they'll look for a new theater for war. And I believe they will come to...
And you know that war is also economic.
Yes.
That's the origin.
So if the US now takes over, since Ukraine has said, okay, if the US now takes over
Ukraine
and says, okay, Russia, you can take some of those other places,
territories.
Now, attention will shift to Africa, and that is to Nigeria. And there'll be problems.
Because it's the only borderless place within Africa
where everybody can just stroll in and out.
People strolling from Niger, from Katsina, they just take bicycle. ride to Katsina, carry anything they want to carry.
Did we not
do
build?
anything they want
Did
to
we?
do.
Did they even complete the railway to Maradi?
Completed.
They are still on it. So I think they're trying to extend it to Niamey.
But he completed it to
Maradi.
Yeah, to Maradi. He completed.
So there is even smuggling on River Niger through Kebbi.
For President Buhari's
that one has been there since now.
Yes.
That one has been there since. You know, our borders are not okay. That's so. If we're talking about stealing our mineral resources and all that, and we have the thieves here, they are also making it. It's also possible because the borders are also open.
True.
Okay, that's just the mining. What do you call it? Solid minerals. So, how about the crude theft?
Yeah.
The crude theft is in high volume as we speak.
Very true.
So, that's the problem we face. When we return, Juror Henry will be examining the 2025 UTME mass failure and wondering why a minister is celebrating the mass failure. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you so very much for still being here. My case, gross irresponsibility. Examining the 2025 UTME mass failure and the role of Dr. Tunji Alausa. The 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME results have unveiled a concerning trend in Nigeria's education system. Out of approximately 1.9 million candidates who sat for the examination, a staggering 76% scored below the 200 mark threshold, indicating a systemic issue that demands urgent attention. Whilst that alone is enough reason for resignation for many Oga at the tops, if Nigeria prioritized education, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has said the high failure rate in the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination is clear evidence that the renewed hope government's anti-malpractice measures are yielding results, especially within the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board system. A very callous statement, isn't it? Well, we don't blame him. What do you expect from a nephrologist who was compensated with the post of Education Minister just after not achieving much as a Minister of Health? However, research shows that underlying factors contributing to mass failure for the UTME were as follows. Number one, inadequate infrastructure and technological challenges. Many examination centers faced technical glitches, including computer malfunctions and poor internet connectivity, which disrupted the examination process for numerous candidates. 2. Lack of digital literacy. The transition to computer-based test, CBT, has exposed the digital divide, with many students lacking basic computer skills, thereby affecting their performances. Number 3, societal distractions. The pervasive influence of social media, especially with every teenager desiring to be like TikTok Bella, Jadorita, or Purple Speedy, the quest for educational empowered greatness is, of course, seldom looked down. My verdict: it's quite unfortunate that politics is allowed to rubbish everything with this administration, such that when students fail, rather than find the remote cause and fix it, the Renewed Hope administration congratulates the failure as achievement of its renewed policy.
You see, I don't agree with that social media distraction. I have read different things people have written, and I just laughed. In our time, we had more distraction than social media.
No,
not
I will tell you.
much as
Hold on. Let him.
I'm coming.
disagree.
I've not even said anything.
Yes. What I
Which bigger distraction was more than Michael Jackson?
I'm
coming.
Oh God!
First, what I carry on your head.
Was more than Michael Jackson. We bought anything. If jeans came out today and they said Michael Jackson had won it, we walk. We'll go and work. Labor. We'll go to sites to work.
Every generation
and
has its own peculiar
get money.
action.
There was this suede, Michael Jackson suede shoes. We worked to get it. Then you had other distractions. You had this Nintendo games. Nintendo computer games.
Okay, but not everyone could afford it at the time.
Come in now.
No,
I will tell you why. I'll tell you what. Do you know what? If you even look at that era, there were people who didn't make anything out of their lives. They failed. Do you realize? Go back to JAMB statistics. There was also mass failure. WAEC and all of that. There was mass failure. Do you remember when universities were shut for 9 months under Wike as Minister of State for Education? Go and check the failure rate that year. For 2 years, consecutive 2 years, there was back-to-back failures. So what we need to do is to look at that issue, the technical issues you pointed at. Every generation, likewise, has its own set of distractions.
Peculiar distractions.
Peculiar distractions. The parties we attended, the babes and all that.
Whatever distractions you had in your generation, just multiply it by 100 now.
I don't agree.
Yes.
You had Michael Jackson. Do you know how many?
We had Marvin Gaye.
Do you know how people are following Davido, Burna Boy, Whiskey, Irresponsibility, all the artists? Wait now.
Those ones are fading away.
I'm even talking about, I want to face the things you spoke about. You are talking about Nintendo. When on your phone now, there are 1 million games.
Nintendo, yes.
Because I'm playing chess.
Okay, you are part of the failure.
I'm playing Ludo.
You are part of the cause of failure.
No, she's not. She has passed.
Hold on, Sarah. Then, on top of that, social media, you don't need to go and be fighting with your... In my own generation, and I'm sure it's a generation after your own, TV did not used to come on until 4
Exactly. And close.
But by 1982 now, but by 1982 all that changed.
1992.
No, 82.
No.
No, 82. No, remember? No, that was none of the state owned. You remember there, Bendel Television, Ambrosali, 1982. You remember Anambra Broadcasting?
In 1985.
Those are
All of them start by 4.
Just start from.
I know, yes.
That time they are decentralized, though, but they don't do.
No, it was LTV. It was Lagos Television that now started what led to Nollywood. That they were showing movies wicked. Sorry, no, but sorry, let me just add information.
Hold on, sir. I'm talking about TV. That you are talking 1982, NTA.
92.
It's even talking 1982 that they became decentralized. 92 self.
All of them were still starting by 4.
Even AIT and channels, by the time they what they call it, the something broadcasting. What is it that they did in 1992 now?
The regulated.
Regulation. Even they were just playing music.
Exactly.
And then one household had one TV set. You go and fight with your parents. They're talking now that all of us have phones. That your DSTV, your Star Times, everything is on your phones. That you don't need to fight for TV anymore. Whatever program that you miss, you go on their YouTube channel and go and watch it at any time. When you're supposed to be reading your books, you're on YouTube. What are you talking about? That's even in response to you. Me, I even wanted to ask number 4.
Please do.
I want to add
number 4. Somebody last year, when a crate of egg became 6,000, he said,
egg.
When a crate of egg became 6,000, that same crate is even now 7,000. That person said, just watch mass failure in
I saw that tweet.
JAMB next year. And he was talking about malnutrition. Is it somebody that has not eaten 3 square meals that wants to go and be reading?
Okay, you are talking about the
ego
medical side of it.
You are talking about
let me add to it. You see, what JAMB tested this year was not intellection or the intellect of children or whatever. What they tested was resilience to stress and capacity to absorb irregularities. Those who passed are the only ones who have that buffer. You see, this 15.
So wake up at 5 o'clock.
Yes. They didn't test the children's intellection. That's if in law, I would have gone to court and asked that exam be set aside. Yes, be set aside because the children who were prepared on the day they were to write that exam, they were put under very tedious, stressful conditions that they lost their bearing. So they only went to that place to make an attempt. They couldn't have passed. So that number is not, it does not represent what they should go and check last year when that was better organized and compare it with this one. How come that the scores were this low? And then you don't have, so there's something must be done. They should set aside that exam. Let the children, let them conduct, yes, let them conduct another one and then plan it properly.
Don't tell them to come and accredit at 6:30. Peter Obi was condemning them that how can you ask students to come at 6:30? Do you want them to leave their homes very far away at 5 o'clock? They said no, we didn't start exams at 6:30. We started at 8 o'clock. It was accreditation.
That started by 6:30. They still came back to 6:30.
The students starting the accreditation at home at 6:30, or they had to leave early to get to your to the exam centers at 6:30. I mean, in agreement with the juror, make them set aside though. Because over 75% under 200, who is going to go to university next year now to go and ask for loan?
For me, they should scrap JAMB. JAMB should be scrapped. If you have 6 credits, take an exam to the university of choice. If you pass, they give you admission. You see, we like creating JAMB. JAMB was just basically,
it was a quota system.
Yeah, we don't need it.
Somebody from the north, they'll say educationally less
disadvantaged states. Why do we have?
So if you have,
do you know up till now we have up till now there are 21 states. The 19 states in the north, then Ebonyi and Bayelsa are still educationally disadvantaged states up till now.
But why is it that we're not even speaking to the man under reference here, Dr.
No,
it's the same man that said they should scrap 6334.
Let's not forget.
No, you know, yes, you know, to me, you see,
in a square hole.
So there's nothing much to expect from him because a lot of things.
The brain of education.
You know, some of these people. You know, for me, some of these ministers, because they cannot on their own bring about fundamental change, so they just listen to what the civil servants tell them.
Who is the person appointing the ministers?
That is it.
What does he know?
It's the president now. It's I lost touch with what it's in France. It's always going to France. So he doesn't even know what is going on. How the system is being managed, what is going to education.
You put the nephrologist as an education minister.
See, your investment, your investment in education is what will change the country.
Very true.
If we don't know. Your investment, that's what will reflect.
Last week, was I
but the money will be stolen.
Was I not talking about Ibrahim Traore? How, even though military dictator, I should stop calling him military dictator, that he's educating his people because that's the future.
Yes.
That's the future.
Will you be here in another 50 years? Most of our elites will not be. The Nigerians that they will call Nigerians in 50 years are the ones that are failing JAMB now.
Now, you expect that Nigerians who are 15, 16 years old now, whom you have zero investment in them, you expect them to behave well in future. Why should they behave well?
Very true.
I was telling somebody you are demanding well me to behave well. When the federal government didn't take, the federal government of this country almost stopped me from becoming a lawyer.
Are they giving you an AA?
And then you are telling me that you are telling me that I should behave well. I should prove on the basis of what? Do I have the fortitude to actually behave well?
If you didn't get the egg, how can you?
No, this country must work, honestly. It has to work.
All right, when we return, Juror Olajumoke Alawode-James will be questioning if the ideology we have in Nigeria can be termed bigotry or patriotism. That in a bit. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still on the Middlemen by case. Bigotry or patriotism. I saw Harrison's tweet about one less Yoruba star after the passing of an APC minion, and I thought it was too much. I don't denigrate the dead here. When someone dies, whatever the issues we have with them dies. I'm one who saw how the bigotry on X started after the gubernatorial elections in Lagos State in March 2023, so I usually ignore the banter back and forth. But on this day, I was going to respond to Harrison and say, no, this is wrong. You're becoming like the people you hate. However, as I clicked on the street to respond, I saw other people had gotten there before me and saw how he responded to them with bitterness and evidence of how he just wished his daughter a happy birthday and someone, unprovoked, wished his daughter dead. All because of bigotry. At this point, I stopped and asked myself, what would you do differently, Jumoke? You can't beat a child and ask him not to cry. It's easy to see someone's reaction and think it's wrong without knowing the premise. Even though the bigotry we see today looks like a very bitter war amongst tribes, interracial marriages are still happening across event centers in Nigeria every day. So I'm one not to fan the flames, but the seed being sown may germinate in a few years and we could very well be undoing the healing process that has taken 55 years since the end of the civil war in Nigeria. Our parents had terrible experiences. We schooled together in unity schools and had friends, spouses from across tribes. So we do not want to teach the next 2 generations tribalism, bigotry, and hatred because of elections. Yet the politicians from who we do this do not even see different tribes nor religions when they share loot and pilfer our patrimony for their children's children yet unborn. We, the citizens, who ought to be fighting them, demanding good governance or kicking them out of office when they fail, are now facing ourselves, fighting ever so bitterly so these paymasters can give us crumbs from their tables and keep us on their payroll for a morsel of bread. Sometimes the ones even fighting for their tribe or religion are the most unfortunate ones. You know, belief is the core of any human being. They are not getting paid, yes. They have no achievements, yes. No hope in the economy, yes. They have no good education nor healthcare, but fight for what they believe in. That someone is denigrating their tribe or religion. They can be poor, but have pride in their tribe and religion. Nothing you can say to change the minds of those ones than to educate their children, if they have any, not to become like them. They may die believing they're doing the right thing because that's what forms their core belief system, and trying to change that is trying to unalive them. However, we must continue to educate ourselves and the larger society about the consequences of the seeds of bigotry we are sowing. We can't complain about racism against blacks in the world and then discriminate against ourselves at home because of the religions of the colonizers and different tribes of our forefathers. We should not inherit the hate and bitterness of others. If I have nothing against the Cameroonian, Chadian, Malian, Togolese, Ghanaian, why should I then hate an Igbo, Hausa, Efiki, Bibio, Ijebu? We all hate what is happening with our South African brothers who hate Nigerians because they claim our men come to commit crime and take their women. And for that, they commit xenophobic acts that are condemnable. How can we then do the same to ourselves at home? Politicians divide us so they can conquer us. The colonialists did it. The military did it. Now we are allowing ourselves to be used again. Who do you think benefits? Hungry people fighting over tribe and religion while billions are being stolen from wild elephant projects that never see the light of day. But buying petrol at 900 naira a litre, we have crude oil under our belly, yet the $897 billion earmarked to revive the Warri refinery has gone down the drain, and we're not fighting over that. Nigeria, who do you this strong thing? Now, this is my verdict. There's insecurity. The Minister of Information says the media should stop making terrorists their headlines. The son of the president is roaming like an emperor. There's hunger. We ought to face our governments and political elites, not one another.
Now, let me quote Odewale, because Odewale in The Gods Are Not to Be Blamed by Olarotimi, when he was explaining how he mistakenly killed his father and married his mother. And he said that in that line, he said, "It was a runaway from the blood I spilled to calm the heart of my tribe. That brought me to this strange land to do more horrors." In his farm, he was called a man from a bush tribe of Ijeku. Okay, when you curse a man's identity, when you curse a man's tribe, or when you denigrate a man's tribe, it hits him so hard in ways that his response, however primitive or whatever you see, you can take. Because it is wrong, really, to curse a man. You can denigrate him, you can talk about his looks, you can talk about every other thing. But if you curse his
origin, His background.
Cross his tribe. That's why Odewale said, it was a runaway from the blood I spilled to calm the heart of my tribe. He spilled blood to calm the heart of that tribe that brought him to another land to do more horrors. Because that thing struck him, his identity. So we should be very careful. That work of art may be Sophocles, it might be a drama, it might be whatever you call it. But that's exactly the way humans behave.
Okay.
If you say negative about Etwa, where I come from,
you will go and break somebody's head.
So,
okay, while we are saying,
but we need to really
can we balance it?
Don't do
today,
I agree.
Today
don't make it right, sir.
On Facebook, I came across a post. There's a Nigerian, she has a Yoruba name. She's an athlete, and she's doing well in Ireland. She chose Ireland as her country. She's doing well. Somebody forwarded a post by the Oriental Times, I think, the foreign medium also. And there were, you could see their names, they were maybe whites or so, who were denigrating her. Then there were whites too, who were saying, oh, her country and my country, praising her and all of that. I didn't see Nigerians, coming to encourage her. So I had to just quickly put something. Now, what are we talking about? The people who are doing this. I find out from a little study I've done, a lot of retired people.
Facebook is for my grandmother.
WhatsApp has really exposed, the how will I put it? Certain strange things in a lot of retirees.
Bigotry.
Too much bigotry things they were told.
No, they didn't have a
as
platform.
Children.
They did not have a platform to publish
things they were told.
Those
things they witnessed as youth.
So
in their days.
Things they witnessed in their days. They will tell you Awolowo and Zik had something in 1951. I challenge. There's a group I belong to. You have a lot of these elderly people.
You're on plenty groups.
I asked them.
You believe in these groups?
No, why? But how will I do my journalism work?
You have to.
I now told them. I said, look at you are talking about Awolowo and Zik. Both men are dead. So anything anybody is saying happen between them is a liar. I said, because you can't tell a man's story better than himself.
True, very true, sir.
If both of them were alive, we will sit them down.
And ask them.
But both of them, interestingly, they belonged to the same groups till they died.
Can you imagine?
These were people.
So now retirees after them are now telling stories to divide them.
To divide people.
No, to divide current people.
To divide younger people. But you know the funny thing?
No, divide them so that current.
Yes, I was at a gathering, on Saturday. Femi Falana was there. And I was talking about that they're trying to build a coalition with the media, for electoral reforms or free and fair elections and all of that. That the youth are actually very angry. Because they just see that these people are just using them. Okay, look at Tinubu. We are still even complaining about, Tinubu's style of governance. His son has now jumped into the. Is that not insulting? Old people will not see that their own children are being pushed aside by Tinubu's son, by all those people. The chairman of the Governance Advisory Council, Tajuddin Olusi, he was saying yesterday that it's wrong for Fashola to have brought out his son for local government election. For the speaker of the ambassador to brought out the son. The vice chairman of the Kenyan government bringing out the son. He said it's wrong that this thing that nobody brought him into politics, that he was the one who came into politics by himself. But what are we talking about? They are not happy with the emergence of Chei Tinubu, but they caused it. They planted the seed and they are going to reap it. Because you think maybe by demonizing other ethnic groups, by throwing them, encouraging people to engage in acts of bigotry and brigandage against other ethnic groups, you think it will advance your own cause. You don't know what you are doing is that you are opening and they've started even distributing such hateful propaganda. Even now, I asked some of them on that group, I said, how many of you will be alive in 2 years when the election will be on? And you're already distributing propaganda. Are you not hastening your death?
But you know that most times they get swallowed by the monster that they are creating.
That's what I tell them. How many of them will be alive by then?
You know something. This is the last generation that will compartmentalize Nigerians. Okay? This alpha generation, this Gen Z people, they are not interested in all these things. So let this generation come and pack
with their bigotry.
With their bigotry, with all the baggages. Some of them will be telling you during the war, And during the war, because of the war, someone will say this one is in Yamari, this one will say this one is.
So when their own generation, so the children that did not see the war will not have any fight about.
These are things that cannot see. I was discussing with someone yesterday in court, and he said what Nigeria needs just 20 years of focus. If we can put, so one guy now asked, is it that 20 years does it include with ethnicity and the diversity? The guy who said that now,
I thought about it.
Still add 5 years.
25 years. 25 years.
He forgot that the main thing dealing with us is our lack of oneness.
Very true.
Our lack of oneness. That unit is not there. So by then, if we can focus with 20, 25 years, we can do something. And then by then, these people with the baggages, this one is this tribe, that one is that tribe, this one is that tribe.
Look at what. There's something I even want. There's an article I want to do. The whole of Europe has been celebrating the end of the they've been celebrating Veterans Day, the end of the Second World War. There have been memorials, 2-minute silence, and all that. But all through all the reports, there has been no mention of Nigeria. Nigeria sent a lot of men to fight the Second World War. Ojukwu, Sir Louis Odumegwu, he provided vehicles that carried Nigerian troops to the theaters of war.
Well, they would not
mention a single.
Nigerian that
I'm going somewhere.
I'm going somewhere as a subset of.
No, it doesn't. It's not about being subset.
It's a subset of the British.
Yeah, the British. But you know what? But the interesting thing is this: if we had pride in ourselves, that's what somebody who commented on that athlete said. Do you know that Nigeria? The lady commented. She lives in America. She said there are 200 countries in the world, and other countries see you as one. So if you come together and focus on your strengths, they will see you as a great nation. Wherever your people appear, they will respect them.
Africans.
So now look at us. The Europeans, even Ukrainians, they are celebrating Europeans, celebrating Ukrainians, but nobody is celebrating Africans who fought in that Second World War.
Now, Emeka, the reason lots of people might not celebrate us is actually very, very clear, because those who are supposed to champion the lack of or unite us as one are not doing that job. Those
telling stories about Awolowo, 1951, and Zik. Why are they not telling stories of the Second World War?
Now, this reminds me of the pogrom that happened in Rwanda. The genocide that happened there. Just a journalist, a prominent one that was always on radio, was saying, let's kill the cockroaches. Let's kill the cockroaches.
Yeah.
And because of that singular, word he kept saying, that led to loss of, millions of Tutsis that died as a result of that. Now, after that particular war, that journalist fled to Canada. Right, he stayed there for close to 20-something years. Just most recently, last 1 year or so, they repatriated him back to Rwanda. He's currently serving jail term in Rwanda now. Now, why am I saying this? Bayo Onanuga visited the museum there. And when he came out, he shed tears. He said, wow, they couldn't believe that. How can people who are living together as one country be doing this to themselves? 2 years later, he never knew that he would be made a stakeholder in the 2023 general elections. Now imagine how many things Bayo Onanuga spewed that time.
But I use the worst adjectives to describe him every time.
Enmity between
every time I have a point to tell him, for every insult you throw at my tribe, I will throw 50 to you.
So this is just...
You will never be happy in your life for the rest of your life. Because let me tell you the truth. Look, let me tell you the truth. The time has come. Let me tell you the truth. Just like Barrister said, the time has come for us to invoke spiritual declarations against people spreading all these things. That they will not end well, and if they are planting hatred, it should go through their families, through their descendants, because you know what all this is doing. Let me tell you, there are people living in this country because of their sanity. Because when they look at all this bigotry and all that, they just can't understand.
What's needless?
What exactly are these people looking for?
It's choking.
So for somebody,
there's somebody. There's somebody on my my fellow landlord's platform. I almost insulted him. You posted a video, somebody saying that the house rents are increasing in Lagos and Yorubas cannot have. I said, what nonsense? How can you post this rubbish? Do you realize you are insulting Negro? How is it possible that people cannot afford high rent because they come from a certain tribe? Does it make sense?
It doesn't make any.
Does it make sense? But you people just speak any rubbish until the day they will insult your father, your ancestors. You will post it, then you will learn that you must.
Jurors,
you know that you must be reasonable when posting things.
Jurors, so I think we have to do part 2 of this particular bigotry or patriotism.
Maybe a series.
I see that it is very sensitive and it is deep rooted.
It's annoying. It's unnecessary.
What we are seeing on social media is just a subset, a minute fraction of what is really going on in the minds of people who feel disabused, denigrated.
And
I wanted to say that people who are doing it for free, because there's some who are paid, they want to be on the payroll of the political elites. The ones who are doing it for free just feel that it is patriotism. How can you say my tribe cannot pay rent? And because of that, you now start throwing
President Tinubu should come and intervene.
Juror Emeka. So we need to go to the root of this problem so that we can find a solution. Because the political elites are happy that we're divided like that. When it comes to politics, they are very united though, even in their own politics. You will find them across all political parties, APC, PDP, LP. They are very united across tribes and religion. But they divide us. Lagos, you cannot allow Omo Igbo, whose great-grandfather built Lagos. But just because his mother is from another tribe, you now divide people, start to hurt people, kill them for elections.
In the exact word of Dewale, the gods are not to be blamed. The man spat on my tribe. He spat on the tribe I thought was my tribe. The man laughed and laughing. He called me a man from a bush tribe of Ijeku. Then I lose my reasons.
Okay. So
let me just quickly add something. Look at the bank that was involved in this very dark man's matter. Suddenly, some people started saying it's a Yoruba bank.
Yeah,
but the same set of people,
I saw that.
In 2023, the same set of people called his own brother, Jimmy Akpaji. They said it's Jimmy Chukwu, that he's looking for his Ndigbo of Lagos. What exactly drives this? Look, I hope we can have a leader and a set of lawmakers in National Assembly that will make bigotry a capital offense.
Very true.
I'm hoping to get to that point. Make bigotry, if you cast
make it a capital offense, like Paul when he visited the Galatians and he told them there's neither Jews nor Gentiles. He made a proclamation that don't go on that. Even the current president of Rwanda, the country refers to. You understand?
Yes.
If you go there and talk tribe, this thing, send you to jail.
Yeah, definitely.
So this matter will not end today. It is deep rooted. It affects us in ways that we have not even spoken about. And I think that we need to find a solution for ourselves where we, the people, are united against the leaders who are pilfering and stealing our patrimony and say, look, my best friend in primary school was Chinedu, my seatmate. I did not see his gender. I did not see his tribe. And until after university, when we saw ourselves again, we're, hugging each other and all of that. But now I want to vote. You say, oh no, Chinedu is no longer my brother. Just because you want me to vote for your son. Let us be wise that it is all for their own selfish interest, not for anything that benefits the rest of us. Juror Olajumoke are still getting married in every event center every day. We don't see tribes, we don't see religion. When we truly come together and love is our religion, let's not take the foreign imported religions and start to kill ourselves and say we are killing on the side of God. But we would also like to hear your opinion on this very, very sensitive topic. Please drop your comments in our social media comment section. But it's a wrap on this particular edition of Middlemen. We hope you enjoyed our conversation today. We would love to hear from you. Like I mentioned, join the conversation, our comment section. We are at Enterprise TV7 across all social media platforms. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, be patriotic, and not a bigot. From the jurors and I, bye for now.